Hello, hello, friends. Melissa Ross here, your mindset coach with Rise to Wellness, and welcome to episode 52 of Matt Chat. We're going to invite some friends on to watch us tonight, and you'll notice that we have a question tonight. Our question is, are you listening to your inner critic, or are you listening to your inner nurturer? Do you guys know what the difference is between your inner critic and your inner nurturer? If you're just joining in now, please do put hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And please do put in the comments if you're watching live. If you're watching the replay too, I'll check out the comments. Please do write which one you listen to. Do you listen to your inner critic or your inner nurturer? What do you think the difference is, friends? Give me a little comment. Let me know below. We have lots of friends on tonight that we're going to invite in for our conversation. And if you're new to us here and you're not friends with me on Facebook, then I welcome you to comment as well. Please do come in, join us. I will remind you all that Matt Chat airs on Niagara Community Radio. You can find that at niagaracommunityradio.ca. on Fridays at 4 o'clock. So you can rewatch this episode Fridays at 3 o'clock or re-listen to it Fridays at 4 o'clock on Niagara Community Radio. All right, friends. Let's see who's here. Patricia is here. Jason Kirkwood is watching. Hello, Jason and Patricia. Patricia says hashtag live. All right. Are you listening to your inner critic or your inner nurturer? Which one is it, friends? So your inner critic, I think we've all heard of our inner critic. Our inner critic is that little voice inside our head that usually tells us, points out things to us, points out when maybe we have a behavior that we need to change or we should change. But sometimes that inner critic goes a little wild and goes over the deep end. And sometimes that inner critic tells us negative things about ourselves, and we start to believe that inner critic. And as you can imagine, our inner nurturer is just the opposite. Our inner nurturer is telling us all of the wonderful and positive things about us and nurturing us, nurturing our feelings and nurturing all of the wonderful qualities that we have inside us. So we do that. Our brain does that inside of us. We have that inner nurturer and we have that inner critic inside our brain. So we have the ability to nurture ourselves and we have the ability to criticize ourselves. And sometimes that criticism is good. Sometimes we need that criticism because it allows us to see a behavior that maybe isn't the most positive behavior, and it allows us to see it for what it is, be aware of it, and change it. So sometimes that inner critic is a helpful thing because it helps us move positively forward on our path. But sometimes, and I know that happens lots of times to all of us, it's happened to me before, I know it happens to you too, my friends, sometimes that inner critic takes over. It goes on overdrive and it takes over and it starts telling us things, negative things, every single day. Now, it could be something different for everyone. Sometimes it could be, for one person, it could be, I have fat thighs, look at my thighs, they're so fat, nobody's gonna love me because I have fat thighs, right? It could be something about our bodies like that. It could be something about our employment. I'm not good at this. I suck at this. I'm so horrible at this. I'm going to get fired, or I'm never going to get that promotion I want because I'm just no good at this, right? Sometimes it could be relationships, and sometimes we say these things out loud too. When our inner critic says them inside of our head, sometimes we say them out loud too. So they could be, I suck at relationships. I suck at doing this. Sometimes we say those things out loud instead of, I'm learning so much about relationships. And I've caught myself saying these things out loud too, friends. So are you listening to your inner nurturer, or are you listening to your inner critic and allowing your inner critic to take over? So it's a trick question because it's okay to listen to our inner critic. It's okay to listen to that critic every once in a while so that we can check ourselves, so that we can be aware of certain behaviors that aren't good behaviors to have, and we can change those things. We have that awareness and we can move towards changing those behaviors. But When our inner critic takes over and goes on overdrive, my friends, and starts to overpower our inner nurturer, and when we start to say those things out loud and they keep coming out, I've caught my own kids saying, I hate myself, I'm dumb, or I don't know how to do this, I always screw this up. That's our inner critic taking over and going on overdrive, and now we're saying those things out loud and affirming them to ourselves, which is something we don't want to be doing. We want to be affirming positive things. So when that inner critic takes over and goes on overdrive, that's when we need to be aware of it, friends, and we need to take action. Okay, so how are we going to take action this week about our inner critic, with our inner critic? How are we going to take action this week? So this week, your homework, my friends, is to notice whether it's your inner nurturer or your inner critic talking, whether it's you're talking it out loud or whether it's just thoughts in your head. So one good way to do this is to stop and think maybe about 3 times a day. When you wake up in the morning, notice the thoughts that are in your head when you wake up in the morning. When you're sitting on your lunch, eating your lunch, notice the thoughts that are in your head while you're eating your lunch. And same thing sometime at night, whether you're eating dinner. If you're eating dinner with family and it's a busy time, then don't try and do it then, my friends. I know family time is busy. So maybe it's just when you get into bed, if you're busy during that time. Nicole is here. Welcome, my friend. So maybe it's just if dinner time is a busy time for you and you're running around with your kids and you're spending time with family, so maybe your third time will be at bedtime. But I want you to sit with your thoughts and notice your thoughts. Are your thoughts coming from your inner nurturer, or are they coming from your inner critic? I also want you to notice what you're speaking throughout the day. Are you starting to speak thoughts from your inner critic? And are they affecting you? Okay, so we're going to notice these things over the next week, and we're going to write them down in our journal. So try and notice them 3 times a day. First, when you first wake up, around your lunchtime, when you're sitting there eating your lunch, and then around dinner time or bedtime, whichever is best for you, friends. Notice whether you're thinking or speaking from your inner critic or your inner nurturer, okay? Write those things down and then reread them and take a look. And if those things are from your inner critic, are they true? Is it something that I really do need to look at and change? Or is my inner critic really taking over and telling me something that's not a healthy thing? Fiona is here. She says, hey, darling. Hello, my friend. You're just coming in on the homework, my friend. So listen up, Fiona, and take part in this homework with all of our other friends on Matt Chat here. So our homework is to 3 times a day take notice of our thoughts and our words, and are they coming from our inner nurturer or our inner critic? And if they are coming from our inner critic, do we need to actually do something about it? Is something that we actually need to act on? Is it a valid point? Or is it something that we are beating ourselves up about? Are we saying my thighs are fat, nobody's gonna love me? Are we saying I suck at this and I'm not gonna get that promotion? What is that inner critic saying to you? And has that inner critic gone on overdrive, and is it taking over? All right, my friends? So let's notice that. And if our inner critic is on overdrive and it's taking over and it's having us think or speak thoughts that are negative towards us, then now's the time to take notice and be aware and have our inner nurturer take over. So when you write those things down and you review them, what I want you to do, friends, and what I invite you to do this week is to reword them. Reword those thoughts, okay? Reword what the inner critic is telling you and find your inner nurturer. Allow your inner nurturer to take over and find the positive way. So if it's I suck at relationships, change it to I'm learning so much in this relationship. If it's I suck at doing this on the job and I'm never going to get that promotion that I'm after, or I might get fired, whatever the thought is, I'm learning how to do this in a positive way. I'm doing so much learning that I'm going to excel in this, and I'm going to be an expert at this because I'm learning so many new things. So find a way to reframe those things that our inner critic is telling us. Fiona says, step into humility and out of ego. Yes, my friend, absolutely. Absolutely. Wise words. Thank you so much for sharing that. So that is the homework for this week, my friends. I invite you all to take part in the homework, and please do, if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And if you're watching the replay and you want to comment below, then please do comment, and I will check the comments after the fact once the video is up and running, and I'll answer to your comments below. If you're uncomfortable commenting in a public place, please do send me a private message and we can discuss. Let me know how it's going this week with that journaling prompt, my friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I am Melissa Ross, your mindset coach with Rise to Wellness. And one last thought, Fiona says, be the creator of your own experience. Yes, this is what you are doing, my friends. Thank you, Fiona. You are being the creator of your own experience. This has been episode 52 of Matt Chat. Are you listening to your inner critic or your inner nurturer? Have a wonderful night, my friends. Love you all.